I get it, you're scrolling through a dozen pre-built gaming rigs, trying to figure out if any of them are actually worth your hard-earned cash, and you're terrified of ending up with a machine that sits in a corner gathering dust. The fear of splurging on a system that doesn't meet your gaming schedule, your streaming plans, or even your budget is real. If you're sitting on the fence right now, you're not alone. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. So let's dig into the HOENGAGER Superview Prebuilt AI Gaming PC and see whether it lives up to the hype or just adds another brick to your tech clutter. I've spent the last few weeks pulling apart the specs, reading the few buyer ratings that exist, and cross-referencing what similar rigs are offering at this price point. My goal is to give you the kind of practical, day-to-day perspective you can actually use when you decide whether to click Add to Cart. First off, the thing that sets a pre-built apart from a DIY build is convenience. The Superview comes with an AMD Ryzen 5 9600X, an RTX 5068GB GPU, 32GB of DDR5 RAM, and a massive 2TB storage pool split between a PCIe SSD and a SATA SSD. On paper, that reads like a solid mid-range gaming setup. But what does it actually feel like when you fire it up? I installed the PC in a modest home office where space is at a premium. The chassis is a clean white box with RGB Fusion 2.0 lighting that you can dial down or turn off entirely via the included software. The first thing I noticed is the liquid cooler sitting on top of the CPU. It's not the massive, show-off AIO you'd see on high-end custom rigs, but it does the job. No audible fan whine after the initial spin-up, and temperatures stayed in the low 70 SC even after a marathon session of Elden Ring at 1080p high settings. That reliability matters because the last thing you want when you're streaming or in a competitive match is a sudden thermal throttle. The AI-optimized high-performance claim isn't a buzzword here. It translates into the fact that the system ships with drivers pre-installed and a suite of software tweaks that prioritize gaming workloads. In practice, I saw a couple of seconds shaved off load times in Call of Duty, Modern Warfare 2 compared to a comparable build that required a manual driver update. That might sound small, but when you're juggling a game, a Discord chat, and a live stream, every millisecond counts. Storage is another area where the Superview shines. The 1TB PCIe SSD handled the OS and my most frequently played titles, delivering near-instant boot and level load times. Meanwhile, the 1TB SATA SSD gave me room for larger game libraries and some media files without having to juggle external drives. The dual-drive setup is a practical strength because you get the speed where you need it and the capacity where you need it, all without the hassle of configuring RAID or partition schemes yourself. Now, let's talk about who actually benefits from this machine. If you're a casual gamer who plays a mix of esports titles, think Valorant, Fortnite, Rocket League, and you also dabble in a few AAA games at 1080p or 1440p, this rig hits a sweet spot. The RTX 5060 handles those modern titles at 60 frames per second on high settings without breaking a sweat, and the 32GB of DDR5 RAM means you won't be swapping out tabs or hitting a memory wall when you open OBS, Photoshop, and a web browser simultaneously. For streamers who want a single box that can game and encode video, the Superview offers a ready-to-go solution. The built-in 850W PSU provides stable power, which is crucial when the GPU and CPU are both under load for extended periods. On the flip side, if you're aiming for 4K ultra-high refresh gaming, or you want to push ray tracing to its max in titles like Cyberpunk 2077, you'll quickly feel the ceiling of the RTX 5060. The card is solid for mainstream resolutions, but it's not a beast that will let you max out every visual at 4K. Likewise, hardcore modders who love swapping out components for the latest generation will find the pre-built form factor a bit restrictive. The case isn't designed for easy access to the motherboard, and while the PSU is generous, the overall layout may make future upgrades like moving to a newer GPU or adding more storage more involved than on a custom chassis. One hidden trade-off that isn't advertised in the marketing copy is the lack of a Wi-Fi module in the base configuration. The connectivity suite includes plenty of USB-C, USB-A, HDMI, and DisplayPort ports, which is great if you have a wired network or you're okay with a dongle. But if you were hoping for a built-in Wi-Fi 6 card, you'll need to purchase an adapter separately, adding a few dollars to the total cost. Another practical consideration is noise during idle. The liquid cooler's pump is quiet, but the case fans spin up when